Welcome to Infinite Universe with interesting episode. What if I told you that Bishop Rance Allen's death might not have happened the way we were told? Behind his powerful voice and joyful gospel songs was a man who may have been silenced just before he revealed something big. A former choir member has come forward with shocking claims that suggest there may have been a deep cover-up surrounding his passing. These new details could shake the entire gospel music world and change how we remember this beloved gospel legend forever. Bishop Rance Allen wasn't just a gospel singer. He was a spiritual force, known for mixing traditional gospel with soul and R&B. His voice could move people to tears, and his passion for his faith was undeniable. He became a respected figure not only in churches but also in the music industry, touching lives with every note he sang. But when he passed away in 2020, some people close to him began to question the story being told. Official reports said he died from complications after a medical procedure at the age of 71. Fans and fellow gospel artists shared their tributes, praising his life and music. But beneath the surface, there were whispers of doubt. According to the former choir member, who claimed to be very close to Bishop Allen, his death might not have been natural or accidental. She suggested it was planned, organized in a way to stop him from revealing uncomfortable truths. She made this claim in a Facebook Live video that was deleted within 24 hours, but not before people took screen recordings. Her voice trembled with emotion as she explained that Bishop Allen was about to speak out on serious issues, including financial corruption, abuse of power, and manipulation in the gospel industry. She said he was working on a tell-all project that would have exposed certain gospel executives and pastors who were using their positions for personal gain. She didn't name anyone directly in the video, but she gave enough clues that led fans to start researching. What they found was troubling. Rance Allen had grown quiet in the months before his death. He stopped making as many public appearances, limited his interviews, and pulled back from live performances. His online presence dropped significantly. His last video posted online carried a mysterious message about being ready to stand alone if necessary. Some now believe that message was a subtle warning that he knew something was coming. The former choir member revealed that Bishop Allen was deeply frustrated during his final years. He had discovered that some gospel artists were being taken advantage of, underpaid, silenced, and pressured to follow strict rules by a small group of powerful individuals in the industry. These people allegedly included executives at faith-based music labels, pastors with connections to big churches, and secret investors who cared more about profit than praise. According to her, gospel artists were being spiritually manipulated, forced to remain quiet about the injustice they faced, or risk losing their careers. The choir member said Bishop Allen was tired of watching anointed, talented people remain broke while others used their gifts to make money. He wanted to speak out about artists being pushed into signing unfair contracts, being used for church growth, and being threatened if they tried to leave. She claimed he had collected proof emails, contracts, financial records that showed how some of the most respected figures in gospel music were involved in questionable activities. He was getting ready to make all of this public. But then, just before that could happen, he was hospitalized and passed away. Bishop Allen had reportedly arranged a private Zoom call with 2 journalists and a gospel industry whistleblower to share what he knew. That meeting never happened. He was admitted to the hospital the day before the call for what was described as a routine heart procedure. But he never came out. His sudden passing left many people in shock, but those close to him began to feel something wasn't right. There were no clear medical reports made public, no fan access to the funeral, and no sign of the material he had been working on. It was like everything had been wiped clean. The funeral itself raised even more questions. It was held in Toledo, Ohio, but it didn't feel like a normal farewell for someone so loved. Due to COVID-19, the public was told that the service would be limited and streamed online. But what fans saw was a highly edited video stream, with no casket shown and no live interaction. Even the replay of the stream was removed from the internet shortly after. Fan channels that posted clips from the service were shut down or flagged. People who attended said they were told not to film anything. One singer said they felt like they were being watched the whole time, and even Bishop Allen's brothers appeared uncomfortable and nervous. Then came the most disturbing part. Bishop Allen had a laptop he kept close to him at all times. That laptop reportedly contained voice memos, outlines for his book, audio messages, and unreleased music. After his death, that laptop vanished. According to the choir member, the house was cleared out within 48 hours, not by family, but by church staff. When friends asked about his notes and files, they were told everything was being protected. But nothing has ever been released. No new songs, no last sermons, not even a clip. It was like someone had gone to great lengths to erase his final words. A gospel blogger from Atlanta began to look into the mystery. They posted videos analyzing the gaps in the story and asking hard questions. They even said they had spoken to someone who had seen Rance Allen's files and was preparing to leak them anonymously. But then, the blogger's YouTube channel was demonetized and eventually deleted without warning. In their last video, the blogger said, "They don't want the truth out. If it comes out, it shakes everything." That sentence has stayed with many fans who feel something is deeply wrong. The evidence continues to grow, not just the deleted content or the sudden silence from people who once spoke out, but also the strange patterns of how everything was handled. The public wasn't allowed to mourn properly. The truth seems to have been buried with him. And yet, there's still more to the story. Just 2 days before his death, Bishop Rance Allen allegedly left a voicemail for a close friend, someone he had known and trusted for years. According to the choir member, this message was shared privately with 2 gospel insiders. They have not released the full audio publicly, possibly out of fear. But the contents of that voicemail, at least the parts that have been described, are said to be chilling. In the message, Bishop Allen reportedly warned that he was being watched and that he didn't know who he could trust anymore. He said he was ready to tell the truth no matter the cost, but if anything happened to him, people should know it wasn't an accident. Those words have haunted those who heard them. If true, they suggest that Bishop Allen may have known his time was limited and that danger was closer than anyone realized. It paints a picture of a man surrounded by pressure, possibly threats, and yet determined to fight for what he believed was right. A man who may have been stopped before he could bring the truth into the light. All of this leads to one overwhelming question: why? Why would anyone want to silence a man like Rance Allen? The answer, according to the people speaking out, lies in power. If Bishop Allen had exposed the gospel industry's inner secrets, it would have caused major problems for those at the top. The system, they say, depends on control over artists, money, church influence, and public opinion. Bishop Allen, with his influence and platform, could have broken that control. He wasn't just another singer, he was someone people trusted. If he had spoken out, others would have followed. That's what makes the silence around his death so suspicious to many. Some fans believe we may never know the full truth. Others hold on to the hope that someone, someday, will come forward with the missing files, the lost recordings, or the full voicemail. Until then, questions continue to grow. The story of Bishop Rance Allen is no longer just about music or legacy. It's about truth, courage, and a mystery that may run deeper than anyone imagined. The whispers haven't stopped. People continue to talk behind the scenes, especially those who were close to him. Some have hinted that more recordings exist, private messages, hidden notes, even journal entries that could offer more insight into his state of mind and the pressure he was under. But until those are made public, all we have are stories, rumors, and the lingering feeling that something was taken from us too soon. Bishop Rance Allen's legacy lives on in his music, but now it carries with it a shadow, a sense that there was something he wanted to share but never got the chance. The people who knew him best say he was never afraid to speak up for what was right, even if it cost him. That's why these new revelations are so powerful. They challenge us to look beyond the surface and ask harder questions about the institutions we trust. His voice may be gone, but his message might still be waiting to be heard. All it takes is one truth to open the floodgates. And maybe, just maybe, that truth is still out there, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. Until then, we remember him not just as a gospel legend, but as a man who tried to stand for something bigger than music, a man who may have been silenced but left behind a story that refuses to be buried. Bishop Rance Allen was loved by millions for his powerful gospel music and uplifting spirit. But after his sudden passing, strange rumors began to spread. These weren't just simple conspiracy theories, they were whispers of something darker happening behind the scenes. A voice message, believed to have come from Bishop Allen himself, started circulating in private groups, though the full recording has never been released or verified publicly. People who claimed to have heard parts of it said his voice didn't sound weak, but rather heavy with emotion, like a man carrying a burden. He spoke slowly, choosing his words carefully, and the things he said sent chills down people's spines. In the supposed transcript of that voice message, Bishop Allen reportedly said that he was aware of what was going on around him. He said he saw the snakes, meaning those pretending to be holy while hiding behind choirs and fake praise. He claimed to have names and proof, and that he wasn't afraid. But what stood out most was his warning: if anything happens to me, don't let it be in vain. He didn't want others to erase his story or twist his legacy. And before the message ended, he said something deeply haunting: if the church don't clean itself, God will. The people who heard that partial recording described it as unforgettable. But when one of Bishop Allen's friends tried to post the audio online, it vanished within hours. It was removed, flagged for copyright and privacy violations. This only fueled more speculation. Some now believe that there are powerful people in the gospel industry who want to keep this message hidden. These could be media gatekeepers or others with legal power who are working hard to make sure the truth never comes out. Even though the full audio hasn't been released, what little information exists is already shocking. If Rance Allen really was collecting evidence and preparing to name names, then his passing may not have been as peaceful as fans were told. What adds to the suspicion is that many artists who used to be close to him have gone completely quiet. These were people who once worked with him, praised his talent, and celebrated his legacy. Now, they refuse to talk about his final days. On gospel podcasts, interviews, and music specials, his name is barely mentioned anymore. It's as if someone is trying to erase him from the conversation. This sudden silence could be from fear, guilt, or something more organized. A few brave bloggers and independent gospel voices are still trying to uncover the truth. One even suggested that Bishop Allen may have been working with a secret group of gospel insiders trying to clean up the industry from within. This might explain why only a few people had access to that voice message and why some of them still haven't been silenced yet. After Bishop Allen died, people expected some kind of public response. They waited for statements from gospel leaders, for follow-up investigations, for tributes, or even a denial of the growing rumors. But nothing happened. There were no deep memorials, no clear statements, no investigations. Some gospel networks refused to even talk about his death. Radio shows that once played his music frequently started pulling it from their playlists. Interviews that were supposed to honor him were cancelled or heavily edited. What remained were carefully controlled stories that painted him only as a smiling, humble gospel legend. The deeper, more controversial parts of his story were left out completely. But behind those smiling photos and perfect tributes, the rumors kept spreading. One former choir member stepped forward with more shocking claims. They said that Bishop Allen had already started warning certain people before he died. These included a lesser-known gospel artist who had recently gone independent, a former accountant from a gospel music label who left the business a few years earlier, and a young pastor who had started an online ministry that criticized the commercial side of gospel music. After Bishop Allen died, all three of those people disappeared from the public eye. The artist deleted all their social media. The accountant vanished and hasn't posted anything since. And the pastor's YouTube channel was suddenly deleted after one final, mysterious video. In it, he said, "If they came for Rance, don't think they won't come for me." That sentence alone made many people believe that there was something far more dangerous happening behind closed doors. Ever since then, the gospel world has felt different. Some influencers and religious leaders began posting messages about staying prayerful and not chasing conspiracy theories. Others reminded people to honor their elders without stirring up drama. But to many fans, these posts didn't feel sincere. They felt more like damage control, an attempt to stop people from asking too many questions. Even big names like Kirk Franklin, Marvin Sapp, and Donnie McClurkin, who all used to celebrate Bishop Allen, haven't spoken directly about the rumors. Some fans even wonder if these artists were warned not to speak, or if they were legally prevented from doing so. In online communities like Reddit and Facebook, discussions about Bishop Allen's death have grown larger and more intense. Search terms like gospel silence and who killed Rance have become popular in niche groups. Independent vloggers keep reviewing Bishop Allen's final interviews, looking for clues or hidden messages. They believe he may have been trying to warn us in his last appearances, but no one was really paying attention. One of the most disturbing things happened in 2024. A gospel documentary titled Shadows Behind the Praise was supposed to be released. The trailer suggested that it would explore deep, hidden issues in the gospel industry. But before it could come out, the entire project was quietly cancelled. A consultant who worked on the film later revealed, anonymously, that there was a segment about Rance Allen that had to be removed. According to them, the removal happened after serious legal threats were made by unnamed people connected to the gospel industry. To his most loyal fans, this was exactly what Bishop Allen was afraid of, that his voice would be silenced and his truth buried. He seemed to know that the machine he was trying to expose was too powerful, too well connected. And maybe that's why he spoke out the way he did, even if only to a few people in private. He wanted someone to hear him. He wanted someone to remember the truth, even if he didn't live long enough to share it with the world. But even though he's gone, there's still hope. A small but growing number of gospel artists are now speaking out not directly about Rance Allen, but about the same problems he may have been trying to fight. They're demanding fairness, spiritual honesty, and a return to gospel music that focuses on real faith, not just money and fame. They don't always mention him by name, but they often credit him as their inspiration. To them, Rance Allen lit a spark, a quiet revolution that's just beginning. Still, the biggest question remains unanswered. Was Bishop Rance Allen a martyr for the truth? Did he die because he was trying to clean up the gospel world? Or was his death simply a sad coincidence, the result of health issues and aging? Fans and followers are left wondering if this gospel legend was silenced before he could finish his mission. Was there really a powerful system behind the scenes controlling what stories are told and which voices are heard? There's something deeply disturbing about how quickly the gospel world moved on after his death. From the sudden funeral with no major public tributes, to the vanishing voice message, to the strange disappearance of those who worked with him, it all feels like pieces of a bigger puzzle. And maybe Bishop Allen was putting that puzzle together before he died. Maybe he was too close to the truth, and someone made sure his story ended early. The gospel music industry, like many other industries, has its bright lights and dark corners. It inspires millions, but behind the scenes, there may be forces that prefer control, greed, and secrets over honesty and faith. If Bishop Rance Allen was about to expose those forces, then his life and his death take on a whole new meaning. He becomes not just a man with a beautiful voice, but a man who tried to wake others up even if it cost him everything. So now, the question is in the hands of the community. What do you believe really happened to Bishop Rance Allen? Was his passing just a sad chapter in gospel history, or the result of something much more sinister? Was he silenced by an industry he helped build, just because he tried to tell the truth? If you've ever heard a clip, seen an interview, or had a personal experience with Rance Allen in his final year, now is the time to share it. These small pieces of the puzzle could help complete the full picture. There are still people out there trying to uncover the truth, and every detail matters. This story isn't just about one man. It's about what happens when someone tries to speak out in an environment that rewards silence. It's about the cost of truth, and the danger of ignoring it. Bishop Rance Allen deserves more than just praise for his music. He deserves to be remembered as a man who may have tried to change something much bigger than himself. His voice might have been silenced, but the message he left behind still echoes. It's up to those who believe in truth, justice, and faith to keep asking questions. To keep looking deeper. To refuse to accept the official story when it feels incomplete. The more people speak out, the harder it becomes to keep the truth hidden. So share this story with anyone who grew up listening to gospel music. With anyone who remembers how Rance Allen's voice could lift hearts and shake souls. Let them know there may be more to his story than anyone ever told them. Because the only way to truly honor his legacy is to keep searching for the truth. Stay aware. Stay questioning. Stay listening. Bishop Rance Allen may be gone, but his message lives on in those who are willing to look past the surface and dig deep into the shadows behind the praise. Thanks for watching. Keep it and stay tuned. Like and subscribe our channel. Have a good day.